A study published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that individuals with high levels of narcissism are up to 3 times more likely to engage in emotional manipulation within their romantic relationships compared to normal relationships. Today, I invite you to uncover the manipulation tactics used in narcissistic and toxic relationships, how to identify them, re-leverage them, and cope with them. For those of you, if it's your first time, I welcome you. For those of you, if you're back, welcome back. My name is Joe. I'm an entrepreneur, investor, business, life, and relationship coach. So let's dive right into it. So today, guys, we're going to be discussing the constant game playing of narcissistic people in particular, some toxic people too. And it's not the obvious gameplay. And what we know about narcissistic people in particular is they don't like to be exposed. They always like to make you look crazy, right? So let's start with facts before we really dive into the small games that they play and the gaslighting and them making you feel crazy, and more importantly, making you look crazy to other people, which is big too, because that's their biggest game. And it's the small passive-aggressive things that they do that they try to play off that was innocent, or they didn't mean to, or you're being over-exaggerating about it, or you're being emotional, or you're being mean to them about it. So we're going to get into that. But let's get into facts first, because I think it's like anything else. Once we understand and we get into the minds of these people and we understand them, we could really come to more of a resolution and realize and understand how to diagnose it and do something about it. When we understand something, it's different when we act on it, right? It's one thing when someone tells you to do something, but when you can link an emotional connection to it, it makes sense. And then there's not an emotional trigger of anger. Maybe there's an emotional trigger of laughter, like, haha, I get it now. Now I know where it's coming from. Joke's on you, right? So let's go over what we do know about narcissistic people. Okay, they're very calculated. And the weird thing about it is I saw a lot of videos from like a lot of these doctors on YouTube about how they always target empathetic people. They call them empaths, I guess, right? And I'm a pretty big-hearted guy, and I was going through processes through my life where I was in, certain relationships where certain things happen with certain people. Not going to name drop; it's not important. But my coach at the time, it's very important to have a coach, for someone to guide you, and I think it saved me from a lot of potentially bad things from happening to me, because she pointed the red flags out from the beginning, and I'm like, how do you know about these things? And she's like, well, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've helped hundreds of people, and pattern recognition, right? The 20 people that I've helped that have been in your situation, 20 out of 20, this happened. I'm like, shit. So I got to really take it seriously, right? Because one thing we do know about history is that history repeats itself. So if these people are known for doing this, people that are known for doing certain things typically act that way. So you can bet your ass that they're going to be predictable. And that's used to our benefit. Because, and I know I'm going to get to the point of this, but I'm trying to open you up to it. If we know their behavior is predictable, then we can understand it. And now we can actually have the leverage on them, because now we're actually outsmarting them. If you looked at my last video, I tried to explain that narcissistic people and toxic people really aren't all that smart, because they're predictable. You can't really outsmart your opponent if your moves are predictable. Being unpredictable is your best asset. Now, us as people that aren't narcissistic, we have the capability of being unpredictable. We just don't necessarily have the hearts to do some of the things maybe we need to, because we have empathy and we have sympathy for others, but that's why we get taken advantage of by narcissistic people as targets. So when I say that they're calculated, my coach had turned around and said, listen, this person has been studying you since they met you. And I'm like, okay. Here's my problem with that. One, how's that fucking possible that someone commits that much time? And two, who's got that much fucking time, right? It's like, I'm telling you, this is the way they are. So when I say they study you for your vulnerabilities, where their openings are, where could they gain control, where could they open you up, where could they soften you up, and where could they chisel away at you to rope you in, chisel you away, and then at the same time, make you within their control, financially, emotionally, turn those people in your lives against you so you look crazy at all times. They have like aspects of control all around you, right? But this all fits into the game of making you look crazy. And that's what we're really going to get into in terms of this passive aggressiveness that comes out of nowhere when you guys are doing good and whatnot. So in relationships, we all have needs, right? And I think if you're together with people for a while, you should know what those needs are. You should, right? You guys pretty much know each other. You know what I need. I know what you need. You know what makes me happy. And I have a pretty good idea. No one's perfect. What makes you happy? Great. What if one day I just decided like, fuck you. I'm just going to stop doing, what makes you happy blatantly. And you're just like, hey, like what happened? Why did you just shut off today? And you're just like, what do you mean? Well, like, I don't understand. I feel like I'm doing all these things and like you just kind of stopped your end of the bargain. Not that I want to sound transactional here, but this is a relationship. Like it's work on both sides, right? Why do I feel like all of a sudden you're not putting any effort in or doing your part? I feel like, you don't care about my feelings anymore. I don't know what you mean. Okay, so could you tell me like what your needs are? Because I need you to communicate with me. I don't know what your needs are. Okay, so first couple times maybe you fall for it and you're like, all right, here are my needs. A, B, C, and D. It's not a lot. I'm not a complicated person. They're basic human needs. It's kind of the bare minimum. I want affection. I want respect. Maybe if you could be considerate and put the fucking toilet seat down after you're done. Maybe clean up after yourself. Maybe just not cheat on me or, shit like that. Everybody's got their own things, right? But the main point of this game playing that I'm going to bring up is that it should be pretty straightforward. And that's the main part of this passive aggressive game playing. So what ends up happening is they just start to not do these things to get a reaction out of you. And just remember, guys, any reaction is still a reaction. Just to get you to react. Hopefully to get you to fly off the rails and be like, oh, look at you. You're unstable. Oh, look, why are you getting so upset? Wow, you're overreacting. Why are you getting so mad? Hey, listen, I'm human. I made a mistake. Like I didn't mean to do these things. I have a lot going on. It just slipped my mind. Like you're just being really you're being crazy right now. Do you see what he or she's doing? Wow, could you believe that they're acting this way? Like giving me so much grief over something so small. Here's what's so frustrating about it. It's easy for them if you allow it to be easy, because they know you're going to react this way and they know they've got you manipulated emotionally because the only thing you want is to have your needs met. And anybody that knows they've ended up in a narcissistic relationship knows that something happened in our childhood that caused us to be with this person. And that's okay. We can get into that later, but let's just accept that, right? So most of us are pretty empathetic people and we want something that maybe we never received as children, and that's okay. We're never going to get it from these people. They know it though, right? So they're going to use that to their benefit as to like push and pull that to get a reaction out of you and, their reaction. And the thing I learned about narcissists was their style of connection is toxic one in that I don't think a lot of them can feel any sort of connection unless there's friction, and it's a toxic friction. So they purposely jab these knives in your side to get a reaction just to make sure that you're emotionally still there with them, even if they consciously know. I don't genuinely believe these people think anything's wrong with them, and I just don't even think they think anything is wrong with what they're doing. I think that like crazy people don't know that they're crazy. I think it's kind of the same thing. Listen, I'm not able to diagnose this, guys. I'm not a doctor, but that's just my opinion on it. Okay, so don't take me word for word. That's just my outlook on it. But it's the small things that they'll do on purpose, right? You know how important it is for me to help me out. I've explained to you so many times that it's important for you to help me with the cleaning. I have a lot on my plate. I just need you to pitch in and help me through this time. And you guys fight over it and they won't do it. Or maybe, you wanted them to go out of their way. Something even simple is like just put the toilet seat down when you're done going to the bathroom, and they'll purposely leave it up. And it starts to stack after a while, right? You start to get pissed off because it's never just one thing. Like randomly, they'll just start doing different shit. And they'll be like, hey, what's going on? You know, and then maybe they'll start giving you an attitude. Why are you so upset with me all of a sudden? It's like, you really have no idea, huh? You got no clue. No, don't get it. What, you want to tell me? You got to communicate with me. And it's like, okay. So here's A, B. Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that important to you. Okay. Yes, you did. You knew it, okay? You knew it was fucking important. And here's the thing. We go through this over and over and over again. I don't know if any of you guys have been through this. You'll go through it over and over. But the point of the matter is, this is a game, all right? All of this is a game. These setups are a game. I've had clients that told me they've been with significant others, and it used to drive them crazy where they're like, hey, when you're with me, could you just be present and stay off your phone? Okay. And they would purposely just go on their phone and start scrolling. Even if they weren't texting anyone, they'd pretend like they were texting someone and smile just to make them jealous and get a reaction. This is the kind of passive aggressiveness I'm talking about. But this is what you need to keep in mind, and this is my main point of this whole video. Everything they do is a game. There's nothing that they're going to do to you that's not a game. Get out of your own head. Everything is a game. There's no deeper meaning. There's no, oh, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe I'm being, too hard. That's not, no. Actually, that's not even the case. They're actually, yes, it's that bad. They've actually sat there and thought about how they can fucking get under your skin today. I'm not even kidding. That's how bad it is. So once you can understand and look up and look across the room, let's use the instance of my one client with the texting or whatever the person was doing, right? And look over and just look and just, I know what this is about. I'm not going to give in. And you get into that mindset where you don't give into that game and you don't play the game. And you can even say, like, if they try to get a reaction, like, hey, are you okay? Or they try to pick an argument with you, be like, not playing your game. What game? They don't even fucking know what game they're playing. So don't even bother trying to explain it to them, right? Because they don't even know, but you know. So now you know better than they know themselves, which is fucking great. And now you can laugh about it. They're going to kick, scream, and cry like a 2-year-old that just got their bomb pop stolen from them. And I really shouldn't be laughing, but the point of the matter is once you're able to get on the other side of these people and, almost see it from a third person, it almost feels like you're just like standing above them and kind of tossing rocks down. Tossing water balloons off the top of a building and just watch them like scramble and not to see like what's happening because they don't even understand like why all of a sudden you're not reacting to stuff. But if you understand that everything's a game, guys, I promise you it's a game. It could be small. I've had clients that claimed, out of nowhere that there'd be presents sent. And it would always be convenient, right? When you guys were hanging out, something conveniently would happen right in front of you. It's all a setup, guys. It's all a setup to get you emotionally broken down and reeled in that I don't want to lose this person. They're valuable. It's something that should be held on to. Maybe you guys got into a fight and they're trying to punish you, so they want to make you feel like shit by getting you jealous. It's always a game. But if you guys are on this video right now, you've already probably been through it. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is to better help you, if you haven't already run already, you probably really should consider, but if you're in a situation where you're stuck for a little bit, at least be able to look at this now as you make your exit and see everything that's done and just don't take it so personally. Look at it and be like, it's a game. Everything's a game, right? Could it be possible that wouldn't it just be easier for us in a relationship to just I don't know, maybe be considerate of each other's needs instead of going through all this shit? No, man, it doesn't work that way. They are going to play the game for as long as they live. And there's nothing you're going to do to stop it. Everything's going to be a game. And when they stop playing the game and they start doing what they want, what you need them to do for the relationship for that short period of time, I hate to tell you, that's also a game. Because temporarily, they're just setting you up to set you up for these games. So that game is just until they start playing the next game. That's just the game, the prerequisite for this game. Crazy, right? But as always, I'm always here for you guys. If you want any advice, free of charge to help you through the situation. It's especially close to me, that's why I make these videos, because I feel like it's a small community that there's not so many people that talk about it because it's very taboo and a lot of people just don't understand. But if you guys have any questions and concerns, feel free to drop them below. I just really hate to see some of the people that go through life with these people and they spend a considerable amount of time with them, and it gets to the point where they slowly get them under so much control. They feel like they have nobody. They've isolated them in life from friends and family. They've got them tied down financially through house. Maybe their children even feel a certain way about them, and everyone in their life views them a certain way because this person has already, after 10, 15, 20 years, has slowly skewed everyone's view and has poisoned everyone over. If you give them enough time and enough vulnerability and enough benefit, it's very hard as us, as empathetic people that love to just give someone the opportunity to love us, to get taken advantage of. And they'll do it slowly. They'll chip away one little factor at a time until the next thing you know, after 20 years, you don't know what you're going to do now because you have no one to turn to, and they've got complete control over your life. And when the door closes, it's a nightmare for you. So, I hope that for those of you that maybe are in the beginning phases and you're seeing red flags, start to address it before things really start to take a turn for the worse, because once they know, they really start to back off and the power really starts to shift in your favor. And don't be afraid to call it out on it, guys. The power could shift. Don't be afraid to speak your mind, and don't be afraid to put your foot down. Drop comments below if you have any questions for me. Email me directly. I'm always here for you guys. There'll be another video next week on a different topic. If there's anything you want me to elaborate on or any certain topic, feel free to drop it below. I always appreciate you guys for tuning in for yet again another video. See you next week.